Hey everyone, Cameron here. Today we're working through a Packet Tracer lab where we configure AAA authentication using three methods: local AAA, TACACS Plus, and Radius. We'll configure router 1, router 2, and router 3 step by step and verify authentication from three different PCs. Let's get started. So the first thing you'll notice here is our address table. We'll come back to that. That'll be important for using our various IPs for things like SSHing in to uh, various pieces of equipment, various devices later, and pinging certain things. So the objectives here, I'm just going to go over this quickly. Configure a local user account on router 1 and configure authenticate on the console VTY lines using AAA. Configure local AAA authentication from router 1 console and the PCA client. Configure server-based AAA authentication using TACACS Plus. Verify server-based authentication from PCB client. Configure server-based AAA authentication using Radius. Verify server-based AAA authentication from PCC client. Background is the network topology shows routers 1, 2, and 3. Currently, all administrative security is based on knowledge of the enable secret password. Your task is to configure and test local and server-based AAA solutions. You will create a local user account and configure local AAA on router 1 to test the console and BTY logins. User account admin1, password admin1 PH. Anyway, you can read that. Then configure router 2 with TACACS, basically. And then finally configure router 3 using Radius with these passwords, as you can see. And we've pre-configured the devices with these passwords here. So anyway, I read a little bit more of that than I meant to, but it's okay. So part 1, it wants us to test connectivity. So here we're wrong thing here. We have PCA to PCB. So let's go to our routing table and let's just ping across the network 12168.PCP2.3. Let's see what. Let's cheat a little bit here and do this. Speed it up, and it worked. And that's just great. And then make our lives a little easier here. Now let's ping PCC 12168.33. Again, speed up, and it worked, which is good. All right. And same deal from PCB 192.168.1.3. Immediately worked. 192.168.3.3, and it worked. Wonderful. Okay, so yeah, that worked as I expected it to. So now let's pull up router 1 here. All right, forgot I already logged in. It's okay. So objective 1, configure a username and a password on router 1, specifically this one here. So let's get started. I'll create the local user account that AAA can use. So username, if I could spell, admin1 secret, admin1 PA55. Beautiful. This creates a secure MD5 hash password for the admin1 user. So now we'll enable AAA and configure console authentication. So we'll enable AAA globally. Without this, none of the AAA features work. So AAA, new model, AAA authentication login default local. Cool. So line console 0 login authentication default exit. So this forces console logins to use the AAA method list we just created. Verify AAA exit. There we go. See, there it is. So now we go admin1 and admin1 PA55. Boom, it's working. So now we do the generic password they already configured, so it's a double password, super secure. Local AAA authentication is working, which is great. So now let's configure SSH requirements. So to use AAA on the VTY lines, I need SSH enabled. So we're going to start with a domain name and the one, oh, right, so and the one they want us to use looks like CCNA Security.com. And we're going to go, you can see I always get this command a little bit wrong. Crypto key generate RSA modulus, and then it's going to be 1024. There we go. So that, boom, easy, boom, done. This creates the RSA key pair required for SSH. So now we're going to go AAA Authentication login SSH dash login local. So this named list will be applied only to VTY lines. So now let's go line VTY04 and go login authentication SSH dash login transport input SSH. Now exit. Now this ensures remote access uses SSH only and authenticates using the local AAA database. Okay, so now let's go PCA. And now let's do the following. Let's go sh-l. Let's make this window a little smaller here. My goodness. There we go. Sheesh. Try to make things a little easier to read around here. Okay, whatever. So let's go sh-l. Just wanted you guys to be able to see it in myself. But 192.168.1.1. Now, there. That's easier to read. Okay, so now let's put in the password of admin1. I think I fat fingered it. Admin1 PA55. Okay, let's try that again. Close by far. Try that one more time. I probably fat figured it. Admin1 192.168.1.1. There it is. So now admin1 PA55. There it is. Now Cisco EN PA55 for the generic password. And there we go. Easy. Boom. Done. We're in. I love SSHing into stuff. I don't know what it is. It's just there's something satisfying about it. It's like I can access a piece of equipment from another piece of equipment. It's cool. It's like digital inception. Makes you feel like you did something right. All right, cool. So part 3. Let's scroll down. We want to configure TACACS authentication on router 2 and configure backup for local users. So let's check out router 2. Save the config at all. It's gonna hurt anything. Just to make sure. Write the config. Make sure it's in there. Okay. So now. Let's go Cisco ENPA55 to get in. All right, now let's go with username admin2 per the instructions there. And admin, what am I doing? Admin2 secret admin2 PA55. Now verify TACACS plus the server setup. So the TACACS server is already configured with router 2 as a client and admin 2 as a user. I'll now configure router 2 as that server. So do this here. Okay, so we want TACACS server host 192.168.2.2. TACACS server key TACACS PA55. So these commands define the TACACS plus server IP and shared secret. All right, so now let's go with. All right, so now configure the AAA login authentication using TACACS plus. So let's go with AAA new model, AAA authentication login default group TACACS plus local. So this means try TACACS first. If TACACS fails, fall back to local authentication. All right, so now let's do line console 0, login authentication default, and exit. So something here. So here, let me just save this real quick. Actually, now is this going to work? That's the question. Let's see. Go SH PCB telnet 192.168.2.1. It is going to work. So we're going to go admin2 password admin2 PA55. Okay, so there we go. Easy, boom, done. All right, so something worth noting here is notice what we did. So we did telnet to get in, and notice what we didn't have to do. All right. So we just did we didn't have to put in a username. We just did telnet and then the IP address, and then it prompted us for a username and a password. Now, also notice what we didn't do on router 2. Do you see? Yeah. We did the username, the password, TACACS server host, TACACS server key, AAA authentication, new model, line console. Notice what's missing? Crypto keys. Why? Because this is telnet. It's not SSH, and so we don't need an encryption for that. Telnet is not encrypted. Now, you could easily just set up some crypto keys for this to make it so you could SSH into that. I've done it, so something to keep in mind. But for the purposes of this lab, it wanted that to be set up for telnet, basically. So, yeah. Okay, so now let's move on to router 3. All right, let's go username admin3 secret admin3 pa. Oh, by the way, so we're doing the same thing we've been doing here on router 3. We're just giving it a username and a password. So the radius server. So let's verify the radius server setup. The radius server is already configured with R3 as a client and admin3 as a user. So configure radius server settings. Radius server host 192.168.3.2. Radius server key radius PA55. All right, so now let's configure AAA authentication using radius. So AAA new model, just like we've done before. You'll find that with networking, things become very formulaic, and you just kind of do the same thing over and over again, just on different pieces of equipment. So AAA authentication, et cetera, like we've been doing. So now let's do the line consoles. Line console 0, line console 0. And login authentication default. Go exit. Cool. Okay. Save the config there. Oh, I see. I made a mistake here. So we're gonna go no username. We're gonna go back up to when I did username. So we're gonna go no username. There you go. See, I put an admin. We want admin. 3PA we want. So now we go username, and I'll bet that goes to 100%, and it does. Let's go. All right, now let's make this official here. Christen the finality of the lab. I guess you could say 192.168.3.1. Telnet, and drum roll, please. Boom. Admin 3. Password admin 3PA55. There she is. And all right. Cisco PA55. Boom. There it is. We're telnetted in. Easy. Boom. Done. And that's really it, guys. That wraps up the AAA authentication lab. We configured local AAA TACACS Plus radius across 3 routers, verified authentication from different clients. If you want me to do any labs on any particular topic, let me know in the comments. I can maybe accommodate that. But other than that, thanks for watching, guys, and come level up with me in the next video.